I had a request from Billie, tnrelichunter, to show some of my early work to show how I've progressed over the years. Now, remember, I started dabbling in 1985 and bringing home chips from the fields and kind of chip them into shape. And what you see here is the best of that year. This was my first year of doing that. In this little bowl here, some of the other ones that I didn't quite get in a frame. Look at how thick these things are. It makes me laugh when I look at them. But hey, you got to start somewhere, and I still have them all because they were so clunky and big that nobody really wanted these things. So here I am stuck with them, but I knew that I wanted to keep doing this. So as you can see, this is, like I say, the best of the best. Again, there's more noise in the background. My neighbor decided it was a perfect day to mow lawn, which I have to agree. It's a beautiful day in the fall. Time to get those leaves mulched. So I kind of went from what you see here to some of this stuff here. And I was getting pretty excited because this is kind of like my first real good Genesee point. And it's made out of Onondaga. It's about the thickness that I used to find them. And so I created this much. I even got a little dagger here. Look at this thing. Crazy. My favorite was this drill that drills around corners. This thing is real curvy, but it's big. I made these in 1987. And you can see I've got a little bit of obsidian in here and all kinds of different materials. Here's some Dover from down in Tennessee. A guy gave it to me. It's junk. I mean, it's crazy. Look at this big fat knife river piece. I was so proud of this. And as you look these things over, I was trying all sorts of things. Serrations. Here's another drill, big fat thing. This is glass that I was using to experiment with. Probably one of the first glass pieces I made. There's a doodle here. And this is some quartzy material. This actually looks pretty good now that I look at it. But you see there's a variety of drills. This one isn't actually too bad for back in 87. And here's a Dalton drill. I had quite a knowledge of point types, but to be able to make them thin was still eluding me. Well, I kept chipping along through the winter out in my workshop. I tried different materials. I tried materials like this. You're probably thinking, that's some pretty cool stuff. Well, this is a material we finally call johnstone or throne stone. It's made from broken toilet tanks. Well, the pieces are thin to start with because it's porcelain that has enamel on it, and you got to chip it all off. And so that's what I have here is a frame of johnstone points. Now that I look at these, they aren't that bad. I was almost afraid to show them. This one here I rubbed a little dirt on, made it look a little older. But so that's the johnstone. Then I thought, why not try some glass? So this is a variety of different kinds of glass, and I really like this frame. There's some cool points in here. I even got, look at this, a nice little Clovis here. Fluted both sides very well. Made out of some opalized glass. Look at this turkey tail right here. This was from a truck lens right there, that yellow glass. I found it when I was out hiking. And another beer bottle bottom. That's a neat one. See, I even saved the channel flake when I fluted there. That's what that is. And I'm starting to learn to make Snyder's points at this point. So you might see a little mix of them. But I did have a fascination with the Clovis type. Here's another dandy Clovis point. So my first real frame of work that I considered presentable was this one right here. I've always kept it. I remember I went to a show and I brought it with me and told the guys I'd only been napping about 3 years at this point. Maybe actually 2, because most of these were made in 87. I was a napping machine back then. Sat there, chipped out one point after another. I might make 12, 15, 20 points in a day. And I was just obsessed. Notice that there are a lot of Onondaga points in here. Also some glass, obsidian. Now these drills are looking pretty good. It's amazing that I was getting them that good. This was kind of the prize of the case. It's a nice little Snyder's made with some beautiful, beautiful beer bottle glass. no problem emptying the bottle. Here's a few more of those beer bottle bottoms. So I was progressing, getting the shapes right. These were actually getting thinner. Let me see if I can find a good one here. The little turkey tail's pretty cute. He's a thin little guy. I was obsessed with thinning, and I got a whole bunch of Lavannas, and here's some little Madisons down here. So I kept working at it, kept chipping along, and then I made this really cool case here. I was starting to give talks and things, so I wanted to have a case that showed different base types, as you see here. Corner notch, side notch, kind of a corner, and there's a bifurcated, and then a Lavanna type. Here's one hafted right here, and here at the time was probably one of my best Clovises. Not a very long flute, but it survived, and that's all I cared about. Then there's some blades here. There's a nice, those are just raw blades struck off, sharp as a razor. There's a worked blade, and then there's like an Adena leaf blade here. Not too bad, you know, for the time. Here's a blunt, a perforator, and a drill. And this would be like a thumb scraper. So I was really getting excited about learning all the different types. And this was kind of typical right here, a case of my work at that time. Now I sold many of these cases full of points like this. I ended up selling one to a friend of mine and gave me enough money I bought myself a brand new recliner. So you can see the Snyder's points were coming along, the Smith base notch, the variety of materials again. I was starting to really experiment with some Burlington and had some nice little Lancelets, Daltons, and so on. But what you see here is pretty much my earliest of the early. This gets us up to almost 1990, my first 5 years of napping. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little peek at where I came from. If you watch this video to see some outstanding new points that I've made, something like this guy right here that I just made here recently. Well, this is the wrong video for you. I couldn't make a point this big or this thin or well worked back then, but I always wanted to. And the difference between then and now is that I've learned how to hold these pieces better, support them well, and to get these bigger, thinner blades. So, as you can see, there's a big difference between what I used to make and what I make now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was kind of a trip down memory lane for me, and I can't believe, where I came from and where I'm at now. So I hope this gives you guys encouragement to not give up. If you make big, fat, thick clunkers right now, well, that's par for the course at the beginning. Here's a really fatty right here. And look at this big, fat Susquehanna. Don't be disheartened. You will get better. Just keep chipping away.